Feel free to talk amongst yourselves for a little while until we get you all clear that we're up and going.
Tell a joke.
Oh.
We have some advertisements featuring
They normally have those issues, John.
Yeah, sure.
in transmission.
The test pattern. Cool. Righto, everyone take your seats. Checking, we are live, we are recording. Yes. Yes, we are, very good. So as Mayor of the Meander Valley, Wayne Johnson, I declare this meeting open at 3:04 p.m. Attendance apologies, all councillors are here, there are no other apologies on staff. So acknowledgement of country, I begin today by acknowledging the Palator and Panihir past peoples, the traditional owners and custodians of land in which we gather today, and I pay my respects to the elders past and present. I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Also pay my respects to those that came after the traditional owners and the custodians. Moving on to confirmation of the minutes. The council receives and confirms the minutes of the last ordinary meeting held on 9th of July. Somebody like to move, somebody like to second. Councillor Loader as a mover. Seconder, please. Councillor Smedley, thank you. I'll put the vote. All those in favour, please say aye and raise your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Me over the page, sorry. Declarations of interest.
We have two declarations of interest, Mr Mayor, one from Councillor Loader relating to item 12.1, planning application 121A Dexter Street, and a second declaration of interest from the Deputy Mayor Cameron relating to item 12.2, which is a development application at 9 Franklin Street, Westbury.
Thank you, General Manager. No other declarations, councillors? There's no, thank you. You've got the council workshop report, which is on page 8, which shows what the councillors were up to at the workshop. We move on to Mayor and Councillor reports, which is on page 10, which is council announcements and acknowledgements. Are there any other councillor announcements or acknowledgements? I'll ask at this stage. Councillor Temple, with your microphone, please, councillor. You might move your microphone a bit closer, John.
I'd like the meeting, Mr Mayor, to note the death since our last meeting of former Westbury councillor, Mr Philip Beveridge. Philip was a family man, a farmer at Alva in Beveridge's Lane at Hagley. He was also operated an agricultural contracting business. He had a deep interest in his community and will be sadly missed.
Thank you, councillor.
His photo appears 3 times.
Okay.
Over there.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other announcements, councillors? Councillor House.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. On the 7th of August, I attended and represented the council for the homeless walk in Launceston. And I noticed Councillor Loader has done somewhat similar with a homeless meeting. I just say it's a reminder, probably if we need one, that the growth of homelessness in our community and more broadly, it's a rapidly growing social change and challenge. As a community and as a council, we need to do all we can, obviously, to assist those that are facing these, I think, generational challenges. So it should always be top of mind, I think, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor House. Totally agree. Anything else, councillors? Councillor Loader.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to commend our Meander Valley's very own Science Week to everybody and encourage my councillor colleagues who haven't done so already to attend. It's next door in the town hall. I was at the opening and world-renowned biologist Dr. Sally Bryant described the exhibition as one of world significance. So we're very fortunate to have it next door. It's on 10 till 3 until Friday. It finishes 3 o'clock on Friday. So please, if you can, get along. It's really worth it and you'll find out what a slime mould is. And don't think that the name is indicative because it isn't. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Loader. Anything else, councillors? No? Thank you. Moving on to page 11, which is petitions.
There's no petitions received and no actions on previous petitions, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. And we're also moving on to community representations. We have a community representation from Mr Malcolm Eastley regarding Taswater issues in the Meander Valley. I'll ask Malcolm if he would like to address the council on that one. Standard practice, Mr Eastley, is 3 minutes, and I'll give you a bell at 2 minutes and 30 seconds to let you know.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to draw the council's attention to the problems Taswater is causing in the Meander Valley. At the time of critical housing shortage, we have a situation where people living under the Heston Bridge within sight of 1,000 home sites which have been held up 5 years due to Taswater being unable to guarantee sewage services. There are opportunities to solve this using an example that's proven in Tamworth and Dubbo, for example. Water not fully treated to drinking water status can be used to irrigate polycrops. It should be possible to expand the treatment plant capacity by about 20%. At the same time, that will reduce the Taswater treatment costs by the same amount. Taswater was formed because councils could not afford infrastructure rebuilding, council loans being restricted in 10-year terms. It requires an initiative, cooperative procedure through both the council, through the regulator and Taswater itself to try and work a system of longer term loans for infrastructure projects. Last time I spoke to council on the effect Taswater pricing is having in Deloraine, we came with a petition with 13 signatures on it. 4 of those have since had to walk away from the businesses, and the 5th one has closed up recently, hopefully just for a winter period. But in large part, the problems faced by those businesses were due to the price structure of Taswater pricing. Volume pricing was adopted at short notice for caravan parks and offices. And that means that caravan parks mostly being owned by council. Council offices, including this one, Taswater offices and the regulator's office, were all calculated under a completely different system and rate rates. Taswater produced a extensive and extensive Jacobs report to look into the problem and then ignored it. But I'd like to quote you from that. Quote, the consumer groups, office and caravan parks have an advanced guard of customers who do not want to be charged high fixed charges that are not related to the actual discharge or service level. Quote. That's the problem we have. It's crippling some of our small businesses, both food and accommodation places for sale.
Yeah, thanks, Malcolm. I guess I'll respond and the chair may want to respond as well. Thanks for continuing to raise the issue with Taswater with us. I've got the added burden, I suppose, of being the chief owner's rep, representing the 29 councils from around the state that go off and talk to Taswater. I've got to say, since I became mayor 5 years ago, the tone of Taswater has certainly changed. I guess that's a change within the officer level as well as the board level as well. There are certainly regulatory requirements that you're aware of, which we can't and they can't change overnight. I certainly have pointed out to them the cost of businesses and the example of the grease traps that were put on businesses 5 to 6 years has certainly crippled some businesses. It's a slow moving entity, I guess, in that sense, but it's also controlled by, well, not controlled, with the 29 shareholders plus the state government. It's also basically government business as well. So there's some complexities in it, but I am working, Malcolm, as I can to do that, and I'm sure that we will see things happen in the near future, but the near future may not be quick enough. It could be 3 or 4 years' time, but thanks for your interest and thank you for your submissions that you keep putting forward. So thank you. Whether you got anything to add, General Manager, on what Malcolm's raised?
Mr. Eastley may wish to ask some questions in question time, which is next, so I'll wait for that. But we recently met with Mr. Eastley and he provided us with his thoughts on some of the pricing methodology, and I did actually pass it on to Taswater, who are conducting their review. currently.
Thank you. Are there any additional community representations from the gallery before we head into public question time? Take that as no. Thank you. So I'll move into public question time. So question time normally goes for about up to half an hour, depending on the chair. If you have a question, you've got 3 minutes to ask a question. And again, I'll try and time and let you know at 2 minutes 30. I have been known to be a bit flexible with time if you haven't quite got your question out.
Can I just ask a question? I had a question on notice. Do I need to stand up and speak it, or?
We're just not.
I don't know the process.
No, that's all right. So we're under questions with notice. So questions with notice have been provided in the agenda, and the response should be on the board behind me with the response questions on notice. Correct?
That's correct, Mr Mayor. So the response to questions with notice have been published in our agenda, which was on Council's website last week and will remain on our website. So those questions and answers can be viewed there. But we will soon move into questions without notice if anybody would like to ask additional questions.
Yeah, so if there's additional questions to be asked, you can come forward now. So I'm going to actually open it up for question time. So we're going to ask, are there any questions without notice from the gallery?
Sir Albert.
Thank you. So I'll get you to come forward and state your name with 3 minutes. And just bear in mind that this is not a debate, it's a question, and we'll take, if we can answer the questions, we will. If not, we'll take them on notice.
Rebecca Hanby, 73 William Street, Westbury. You did drain upgrades to the eastern side of William Street between Dexter and King, and the camber of the road and the continuation of the camber of the road, which was the verge, which then shed the water down into the drains, which ran the complete length of that block between King and Dexter, have now been filled in. The verge, which was the continuation of the camber, have now been filled in and replaced with grates, 4 to 5 grates, which are set approximately 100 mil off the road, which haven't even been charged. Continuation now. As a grader operator and someone that builds roads, I'm aware of the percentage for a camber. This camber has been totally destroyed by the continuation of the verge being now level. The water now runs the road, and the grates that have imaginary signs that now say to the water, can you please exit here? The water runs completely past the grates. It's now running between the lip of the bitumen and the start of